Welcome to Mitigating Fraud, training video for laboratory staff. After watching this video, viewers should be more familiar with the following steps to help mitigate fraud. 1. Verification of applicant identity at each step of process. 2. Supervision of sputum collection. 3. Supervision of urine collection. 4. Using a dye tablet to change color of toilet water. 5. Checking temperature of urine after collection. 6. No personal items allowed in collection area. 7. Using unique barcodes or laboratory numbers instead of names and DOBs on phlebotomy samples and sputum specimens. Let's begin with verification of applicant identity at each step of process. Applicants should have photo identification. Ideally, a passport with a color photo and signature. If the applicant is not in possession of a current and valid passport, please confirm with the visa issuing authority on what identification is acceptable. Panel sites should ideally have a tracking system in place, so when the applicant moves from one area to another, clinical staff can verify they are working with the same applicant who originally registered at the check-in desk. Next, supervision of sputum collection. The staff should do the following. 1. Verify the identity of the applicant providing the specimen. This may require the applicant to remove their mask for photo identification checks. 2. Observe the collection to ensure they are not providing a synthetic specimen or tampering with their own specimen. 3. Explain to them they will need to come to the clinic on 2 more consecutive days to provide another sputum specimen. Verify their identity on both subsequent days. Now, supervision of urine collection. The staff should do the following. 1. Verify the identity of the applicant providing the sample. This may require the applicant to remove their mask for photo identification checks. Using a dye tablet to change the color of toilet water will also aid in mitigating fraud in the following ways. 1. By adding dye to the toilet water, the water becomes colored. If an applicant attempts to dilute their urine sample with water from the toilet, the dye will color the sample, making the tampering evident to the collector. 2. The presence of dye in the toilet water acts as a deterrent. Knowing that any attempt to dilute the sample with toilet water would be easily detected, individuals are less likely to attempt fraud. 3. If a sample comes out with the dye color, it's a clear indication that the sample has been tampered with. This allows for immediate action, such as discarding the compromised sample and possibly requiring a new sample under more stringent observation. Next, checking the temperature of a urine after collection is a critical step in the testing process to ensure the sample's integrity and to detect possible tampering or substitution. This method is based on the premise that freshly voided human urine has a characteristic temperature range shortly after it's collected. Here's how temperature checking aids in the process. Verification of freshness. Normal range. Freshly voided human urine typically has a temperature between 90 degrees Fahrenheit and 100 degrees Fahrenheit, 32 degrees Celsius and 38 degrees Celsius, due to the body's natural temperature. This range can vary slightly based on various factors, but it is a generally accepted standard. Immediate testing. The temperature of the urine sample is usually measured within a few minutes, typically 4 minutes, after collection to ensure accuracy. If the sample is within the expected temperature range, it is likely to be fresh and genuinely from the individual at the time of collection. Detection of substitution or adulteration. Substituted samples. If a sample is presented at a temperature outside of the expected range, it may indicate that the urine has been substituted with previously stored urine or with synthetic urine. Adulteration attempt. Similarly, a temperature outside the normal range might suggest an attempt to dilute the urine with water or another liquid at a different temperature. It's also important to instruct the applicant that they are not to bring any personal items in the collection area. This can help in preventing the applicant from concealing substitute samples or any materials that could aid in a fraudulent attempt. Lastly, using unique barcodes or laboratory numbers instead of names and dates of birth on phlebotomy samples and sputum specimens is a practice adopted by laboratories for several important reasons related to privacy and accuracy. Here's why this method is preferred. Privacy and confidentiality. Protect personal information. Unique identifiers help protect patient privacy by minimizing the exposure of personal information. In environments where multiple healthcare workers have access to specimens, using a system that doesn't openly display sensitive information like names and DOBs helps comply with regulations such as HIPAA, Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, in the United States, and GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation, in the European Union. Reduce risk of information breach. In the case of a security breach or unauthorized access to samples, unique codes significantly reduce the risk of personal information being compromised. Accuracy and error reduction. Prevent mix-ups. Using unique barcodes or numbers reduces the risk of specimen mix-up. Names and DOBs can be similar, leading to potential errors in sample identification. Unique identifiers, especially when coupled with barcode scanning systems, ensure precise tracking and handling of each specimen. Enhanced tracking capabilities. Barcodes enable automated tracking systems to accurately monitor the progress of specimens through various laboratory processes, from receipt to testing to reporting results. This reduces manual entry errors and ensures that results are accurately matched to the correct patient. The use of unique barcodes or laboratory numbers also minimize the possibility that clinical or laboratory staff may be compromised by an applicant or patient to substitute a sample or falsify results to assist the applicant in committing fraud. In summary, you should now be familiar with the following steps to help mitigate fraud. 1. Verification of applicant identity at each step of process. 2. Supervision of sputum collection. 3. Supervision of urine collection. 4. Using a dye tablet to change color of toilet water. 5. Checking temperature of urine after collection. 6. No personal items allowed in collection area. 7. Using unique barcodes or laboratory numbers instead of names and DOBs on phlebotomy samples and sputum specimens. For more information, visit www.cdc.gov/immigrant-refugee-health.